All right, I've been dying to make a video about this, and the race hasn't even been over for more than 6 hours. The race ended up, I feel like 4 or 5 hours ago. I was laying in my bed, I was watching TikTok, and my TikTok was just filled with Lightning McQueen edits. I have no reason why. I have no answer as to why. I don't really know, but you're probably wondering, why am I showcasing a race at Mexico when I'm supposed to be talking about the Jlab race at Silverstone? Well, this just to showcase my first career win I ever got in Jlab. Was around 2 seasons ago, but before this clip ends, I just want to showcase the amount of people that are actually in somewhat contention, I guess you could say, in the top five at least. There's only 4 drivers. And this showcases JLab having a somewhat lower attendance. Now, I just want you to see this, a JLab race that just took place a few hours ago. Yes. Do not let your eyes deceive you. That is 16 people about to race. This is, bar none, the biggest F1 race ever I'm about to do. Probably that everyone here is about to do, most likely, because most of us are just fucking league racers, man. I mean, everyone in this field got in this league from the NASCAR league alone, most likely, if I had to just guess. And I don't even think that's a crazy guess, to say the least, as we take the green here at Silverstone. But I just want to showcase a few things. The mix of this race between, the back markers, the competitive drivers, and the mid drivers needs to be outlined, because while this may look like a normal start to the race, it will be far from normal by the time we hit, I think, lap 6, as there is rain expected. Not only that, and just to branch on the fact that most of these guys haven't raced in an F1 race with over 12 people before, let alone 16. There are only 4 AIs to worry about, which is going to be a big adjustment to 16 cars pretty much actually trying to pass you and being smart and being actually decently fast, or fast enough to make a move. So I already know from the get-go, not only was that probably hard for me to adjust to, but probably hard, at least somewhat challenging for everybody to adjust to, as Grega goes off track there after a collision with Zach, I believe, as he gets auto-recovered all the way back there. Now, I came into this race not knowing what to expect, but I did know this, that qualifying was going to be huge, because I literally said this, if you're qualifying behind, in 7th, 8th position, you might be fucked, because you're just in the middle of everything. Thankfully, I qualified 5th, had a decent start, was able to maintain 5th after Grega got spun, and here I am just settling here. It's lap 3 now behind liners. And this race had actually been relatively calm, but I knew it'd be far from calm here a few laps from now when the rain came in. And also, I was just shocked we didn't have a safety car yet. But heading into this corner, liners bops the curb. And to be honest, I thought his car would have slid down way more. I also just was shocked at how slow that made his car, even though I don't really know why I was surprised by it. I hit him, I spin, also collects Dizzy in there as well. But Dizzy doesn't get slowed up near as much as me. Dizzy is Eric, by the way. Cody the Bear in 11th position behind me right now. So I get set up behind Steven, and then yet more chaos. And that's just kind of what happened in this race at random times. I was settling in behind Steven and Aiden, just about a second back, and they get tangled up. I think Aiden got in a collision with the car ahead of him. He spins. Steven nails him. Steven now has no wing, I'm pretty sure. And then just, less than 10 seconds later, Kluge gets involved in an accident. There is a safety car, first one of the day. Now then, I think this is the 3rd or 2nd lap of the safety car, rain starts to hit the track. And everybody decides to come to the pit road because now it's raining. Now I want you to look far up ahead at the top of your screen. Boom. Yes, you just saw a car hit the pit wall. Now let me branch into this real quick on what really happened. Go Boom got disqualified for passing the safety car while he was entering the pit road. I guess it DQ'd him, and his AI took control of his car and rammed him into the pit wall. That whole shit of chaos threw everybody off guard, and Dirt also managed to get a 5-second penalty in there as well. I don't know how he got it, but on the safety car restart, it is now raining way harder now than it was just a few seconds ago, and basically, I tried to pass dirt here because I knew I was faster than these people. I'm not trying to be a dick. That was just how I already went into this race knowing or assuming and thinking. And right as dirt goes way off track there. And I'm just trying to beat Moose here, get ahead of him, and just branch up on the fight ahead, which was catching Griga, arguably the best driver in the field, and is coming off a championship. Now, I end up catching up to this pack, which is battling a lot, which I got saved a little bit by that in this race battling, me trying to catch, because I was slowed down so much on these restarts, trying to eck my way through the field, which I kind of put myself in that kind of a hole, because I'm getting used to this new strategy stuff when it comes to these safety cars, and you play it the wrong way, you can find yourself behind a whole bunch of cars that if you were to pit a lap earlier or make a decision faster, you wouldn't be behind any of them. That's just kind of an adjustment I've been trying to learn for a while now. But here, just me showcasing some of the, battles we had throughout this race. This was an amazing race. And I am just trying to find my way through the field, knowing I have, bare worst, a top 5 car. And basically here, again, just me chilling behind Logan for a bit. Then Steven gets a little loose off that corner. Didn't have a good corner at all there. Logan to the outside of him. And here I am knowing I can pass both of these guys. Now they're both starting to battle. And this is just what I'll see up ahead of me. Let them rough each other up. Steven has a bad exit. I take full advantage. And I get ahead of him at the end of turn 1. And then the immediate thought is to pounce on Logan. And again, when it comes to these passes in the rain, yes, it's just one at a time. It's not like these DRS trains can be formed or anything, or you can get a huge boost. Yes, you got ERS, but it's just harder to pass, and passes are going to be less common in general. And a lot of that will be showcased at the end of the race. Now, Moose DNFs, and it causes actually a safety car. It started as a VSC at first, but then it turned into a safety car. And basically, I noticed this as we're on the next lap now. Griga decided to pit for new enters. And then I think someone else did too, but I just know Griga was the one for sure. And me being the late decision maker I am, also realized that my enters were cooked and probably weren't making it to the end of the race. But even if they did, I'd have to conserve. So I went on new enters as well, as a lot of people did. But this, again, I'd have to find my way somewhat back through the field a little bit here. Now, I look at Isaiah and Dirt get tangled up there. Dirt spins. Isaiah, I think, loses the wing from that encounter. And just like that, after fighting my way from like 11th or 10th position, it took a long time, but I moved back up to 4th, battling for a podium now. I then pounce on Logan, who's on old enters, I believe. And I make note of that real quick. Try to get past him as soon as possible, because the last thing I want to do is go through what I've had to go through on a few of these last restarts and lose a lot of time to Dizzy and Griga trying to pass other cars. Thankfully, I didn't, and I was able to hang with Dizzy, only falling about 1.2 back. Now, I want you to... Now, I was at 1.3 seconds behind Griga, but it then closed to 1.7. And I was like, holy shit, I actually have pace. And then, before you know it, I'm on the gearbox of both Dizzy and Griga with 3 laps to go. Now, to take into account this, Griga is on older tires than everybody else in terms of the enters, because he pit first. Now, this gave him track position, which track position in any rain race is huge because, like I said, it's harder to pass, and passes are harder to come by. It's not impossible, but they are more challenging. Now, while me and Dizzy were both on fresher tires, and also Zach, who is nearing my gearbox as well, but something happens with Zach here that would just take him out of podium or race win contention. Has problems under braking, sends it by accident, not by accident, I mean, his car just sends it into me a little bit, gets me loose, throws me all off, and at first, I didn't know what had happened. I'd asked him, he just said he had problems under braking, his car didn't brake. I'd fallen behind Dizzy and Griga he wasn't fast. He was able to maintain his ground, have a really good lap on the final lap to maintain a good distance ahead of Dizzy and take home the win. But at the end of the day, look at this. This is the biggest race Jlab ever had, and it was honestly a really entertaining one. Now, obviously, if I would have gotten wrecked, I probably would be saying something different right now, but it goes to show that I think everyone would rather deal with 16 users than about 10 AIs every race. I think we can all agree on that. And there's a lot of things to take from this race, but the main thing I took away from it, despite me getting a podium, which was really huge, and my teammate Zach getting a fourth, which, I mean, hell, constructors lead at the moment. Let's fucking cook, Zach. But anyway, like, what I took from it, well, honestly, for otherwise from the podium, which is the main thing I took from it, the main thing otherwise from that I took from it was the fact that racing with 16 people, which is something that I've done in Heat 5 a lot, obviously, because I used a league race on Heat 5 all the time. That's fun. But honestly, arguably, at least on F1, it's even more fun. I don't know. I feel like it's just the amount of strategy involved with the rain, like the difference between how fast pitting a lap earlier, how fast your enters would be than the person who pitted the lap prior was crazy in that race. It's just amazing, the art of the strategy there, the art of the wrecking and the chaos at times. And this league race is what I call a dream league race. You have your period of that whole like part I skipped through nearing the end where it was just me trying to catch Dizzy and Grigga, just a whole chill period of that. No, not really any incidents on track, and just just a chill period, and another period of chaos, periods of strategy, and under yellow. It was an amazing league race altogether, and not only that, it just this is the first race of the season, and it's at a what I like to. I think Britain's honestly one of the more challenging tracks. I mean, it's not like one of those easy ones in my opinion. It's a tough track, especially a tough track to gain speed and be fast at. So I think that's really promising. And another thing hope that gets maintained is just these amount of people attending these races because genuinely, because when it comes to NASCAR league races I've done and the leagues I've done over time, it used to be like, let's say 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was a normal common thing to get 16 people for a league race. It wasn't that big of a shock. Of course, everybody's excited because that's still a lot of people, but I'd say it's not going to like make someone just completely bust a nut about it. But when it comes to F1 league with a bunch of people who, I mean, we're not going to act like nobody's to F1, pay a lot of attention to F1, right? But aren't known for F1 league racing, and just to get this big of a group of people to have a race and it not be a shit show is honestly pretty impressive in my opinion. And not only that, this race could have been a 20-person race. I mean, there are still multiple people in this community who have F1 and have F1 23 and not even the main F1 game right now. I guess F1 24 is, but a lot of people don't like that fucking game. Some people don't like this game either, but I mean, that's just sports games that EA touches these days, but not my point. The point is just the fact that racing, I didn't realize how fun racing with a lot of people was because I didn't realize it again, I should say, because I haven't experienced it in such a long time. Because Heat 5 leagues, they've been somewhat dead because NASCAR Heat 5, let's face it, not the best NASCAR game. When we're put in a position at a deep-ass fucking dark hole where we have to play the game for 4 years, then it's going to get old eventually. It got old to me about 3 times. We went through like 3 retirement periods, and they were all 3 weird ones. The first retirement, I came back, I was dog shit, then all of a sudden I just turned really good at the game, better than I was before I retired. Then, second retirement period, I just take a year hiatus, I come back, and all of a sudden I'm a top 3 plate racer somehow. But I'm pretty much dog shit everywhere else. Not dog shit, but just washed. And yeah, I just look at, that's besides the point. My main thing was NASCAR Heat 5. If I thought league racing on there with 16 people, and NASCAR Heat 5 is not a good NASCAR game. If I think league racing on there with 16 people is fun, league racing on F1, an actual even better game, despite it having its issues, It's a way better game, and it was just way more fun to play and race, and not to mention the. I ain't gonna lie, the lineup we had was absolutely legendary. We had Hines, we had Steven, the owner, we had Kluka, we had Griga, we had Hendrick, him and well-known Colton Irving used to be a dynamic duo back in the day. I haven't heard from Colton though. God knows where he is. But basically, who else? Moose, the bomber himself, the Brazilian bomber, as I love to call him, even though that makes no sense, as he is of none Brazilian heritage. Quite literally, I don't think. So that just goes to show my random nicknames, I guess. We had Small, has his own YouTube channel, has posted a lot of crazy shit over the years as well. We had, I'm definitely forgetting some people. We had Dirt. We had Isaiah. Shit. Let me think. We had Zach, my fucking teammate. How did I just name my teammate like 11th out of like 16 people? We had this new guy who is on Xbox, and I haven't heard his voice once. So that's, I guess, a mysterious figure. So, and he was kind of a backmarker. It was like he must be new to like F1 games or something. But basically, what I'm all trying to say, and we had GoBoom, one of the best drivers in the field, undoubtedly. But anyways, this goes to show, like, with a roster like this, I bet the party chat was nuts, as I heard. I actually am on pretty much, I have everything muted during races so I can focus, and I don't fuck around and wreck the whole field. But I heard the party chat was crazy, and I bet it fucking was. As that is just a recipe for party chat disaster and crazy shit being said. Speaking of that, we had Liners was there as well. I don't know why me saying the word disaster reminded me of him, but there's that. But I'm also showcasing this F1 online race I did for shits and giggles at least 4 months ago, I think. But this F1 race, from what I remember and why I just instinctively added this clip in, this was a race with a lot of people as well. And I just think the more people you race with, the better. And the less AIs you have to deal with, the better. Even though if me racing, or this Jlab having a lot more people racing and stuff, could benefit in a lot of ways, but also fuck me over. I could get wrecked a lot, yes, but that comes with the risk of racing, I guess you could say. But it was just way more fun, and there's more guys like Gavin and Slick. I don't know if Boger's allowed in C-Cups, but there's always an opening there, another guy with the game. There's Josh. He's a character, to say the least. But some guidance, he could be somewhat rehabilitated, I guess you could say. I'm acting like he's a cardiomaniac, a psychotic maniac, not a cardiomaniac, but whatever the fuck a cardiomaniac is. But anyway, that's besides the point. There's a lot of people with this game, and the racing, it was amazing. And also at Silverstone Challenging Track, I can only imagine it at, like, I feel like at Netherlands it'd be nuts. Belgium, which is the next race. Belgium could be a long inducing race. Yes, it's a long track, but it could also be a really fun race, which I hope this big amount of people keep racing Jlab and these other F1 leagues like Smalls coming up and stuff like that, because it really has set up to be something amazing. Because I tell you, I haven't had that much fun league racing in a while when it comes to that 16-person race. And I wasn't even in the party chat to like hear all that was going on and shit. So, I mean, it was just amazing.